Peace. Today's mathematics is knowledge, God. And that's what everybody's gonna do right now. Okay. This session is gonna be a little short because I have my daughter with me. We're gonna do some things, but more importantly though, this session here that's being recorded here is a PSA, public service announcement. All right, the special PSA. PSA, aka pedagogy, the pedagogy of Sunez Allah. You know, I've since the last year, this has become very, very prevalent, though. You know, ever since my builds have been online, really via the Allah School in Mecca page on YouTube, run by the God Allah Infinite, aka Mega. I've gotten a lot of hate on those pages, right? I've discussed this kind of hate a lot of times and the reasoning and all that kind of stuff, right? That's not what we're going to really get into now, unless people really don't know. All right? This PSA is, though, because recently I spoke about a student, a would-be student that failed, and I said why. And I told this story because I'm seeing this all the time. I'm seeing that people don't know how to learn. They don't know how to have a mentor. They don't know how to be an apprentice. They don't know how to be under the study. They don't know how to have the humility of being a student and being wrong. They don't have the fire of being a student and asking the right questions continuously. Right? So what happens is that when they're wrong, they don't want to be corrected. Here's how it takes a play here, right? I had this person in the classroom. I said this story. Infmega was here recording. He said to the guy, "You got your headphones on, right?" "Yeah." You wanna lower those headphones or be in this cipher? And the young kid got offended with it. So much so that he picked the time to leave after he tried to, with good attempt. Like it's awesome. It's awesome. Somebody tried to challenge to say we're not the God, we're not this. You can't predict this. And we talked about that. We talked about the science of prediction and the mysteries that were involved in this mentality. But I said this to him in the classroom. I say you can't have a thin skin. If you want to learn this knowledge, you can't have a thin skin. Ain't that right, God? Right. You want to learn this knowledge, you can't be thin skinned, right? You can't be offended if you get corrected, right?
Right. You have to have a thick skin.
That's right, a thick skin. Even my baby's telling me we have to have a thick skin. And she's knowledge years old. Sometimes you won't like what's said, but you got to say, listen, are they right? Do I have to get it tougher? Listen, we have youth that have never been under the study with anyone learning anything. They think that if they read the book that they've been told to read and watch enough YouTube videos, that if they followed the algorithm to the right spot, that they would learn enough. Why am I saying all this, though? Why am I saying all this? Because then I got to get trolled on the internet. I got to get people telling me that they're going to hurt me because they don't like the way that I was talking to them in the class. If you don't like the way I'm talking to you, then you're going to have a problem learning from any elder because I'm nice. Right? If you can't handle me, you can't handle anybody. So I don't yell at this person. I don't tell them to shut up. I don't tell them to sit down and listen to whatever we tell you. I don't say any of that. I let them speak. I let them do everything. But they don't like it. And when I said next session that they decide to leave the classroom when it's time, when I go through the intense work, the intense reading, the intense writing, the intense study, the intense building with all the different elders that I built with and spend time with it, still spend time with it. And they still get emotional. For some reason, this has to do with them. It's not about you. You want to make it about you? You want to come around and threaten me? And I'm not saying it's because it's one person. It's continually happened because these people that want to learn are thin-skinned. You want to learn martial arts though, but you don't want anyone to tell you that you can't fight. You want to learn this knowledge though, but you don't want anyone to tell you that you ignorant, that you said the wrong thing. It don't matter the proofs they have. You want to be told a certain way. And when people tell you a certain way with rigidity and professionalism, not disrespect, rigidity and professionalism is respect. Watch this, because this is the way of the young man today. They are thin-skinned. And I make a PSA because I'm not having any of it. You in trouble though. You think that you're gonna make me retract. You're gonna make me say, I didn't mean it, this and that. You're gonna get on my Instagrams and find me out when I put my name out there for everybody to come and build me through all the platforms and forums, so that you can say, I'm gonna see you when I see you. See if you want to talk like what? A teacher? A teacher correcting a student? A teacher showing you where you were incorrect? Yes. Showing you to the references so you could go check to see why you incorrect? We got a bunch of thick, thin-skinned people out there. These 85ers are thin-skinned. Wouldn't last a day with these elders. You don't know your stuff, you say you don't know your stuff. You know it, you say you know it, you know it. That's the PSA. Anybody that has any builds, add-ons to this, whatever you want to ask, please ask. I'm only here for a very short time though, okay? You'll probably be leaving before 7:30. Okay? I don't want to learn anything. And I think that our youth don't have the proper relationship of mentoring. It's a different type of thing. See, when I teach martial arts in the school system, the kids are used to being told things and taught in the classroom setting. But it's different learning in a mentor setting. It's different learning when they're getting one-on-one immediately. We have to know how to validate who it is that's teaching us, and then be able to engage them professionally if we want to continue to learn. And we make sure that is that person that is teaching us setting a framework to learn professionally. But you can't do that though if you don't intend to learn professionally. People want to act like they came here to learn, but they tell me that they came here high, and they're high, so they can't really get all of the jewels that I'm dropping. No. Yeah, well, that's why you should probably leave. Or we're another stop on the religiosity tour to see which religion is going to fit for you, because you're a man, you're in no man's land. You got nowhere to go. Nothing wrong with that. I need to speak with you. We all search for our spirituality, how we will answer and relate ourselves to the world and the universe beyond ourselves and all of humanity in our own certain way. So whether I like it or not, though, and we are not a religion, we end up being one of those spots, one of those stops for humanity, especially, and of course, if they're in this area, this is one of the stops. But you're not going to be happy with what you hear if you're not hearing salvation. This isn't a salvation place. You build your salvation. You create your reality. You learn how to create your reality, and you will inspect the entire past that you lived with respect to your daily experiences that accumulated in years, months, and days, as well as all of the experiences of history and studying that history and how it relates to you and how it comes back to you from your immediate view, ethnicity, family background, to the entire background of this nation, that everything is included, all of the human families, all of the original peoples, the Black New York history in general, this nation's history, the history of our elders, everything that is relevant to that situation and that reality. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to learn what context our reality is in, what our humanity is in. And you have to have a thick skin. You cannot be weak. I've seen fifth graders that were tougher with me and could take more barrages of do this better, try harder, work this better, try again, one more time. I'm over here sharing everything. I share my life, my time, my collections of research and literature.
And you have not gotten to know me.
All of these things.
So I decided.
And I have to hear people that don't want to get taught once they're in the classroom. They don't want to get taught, which is absolutely acceptable. You don't want to get taught and you decide to leave, then that is fine. I am a teacher. I am allowed to and have the right to. And it's actually not a classroom if I don't judge every single person that walks in the door. You don't know your grade with me. It's because you haven't asked or I haven't found it relevant to tell you what it is. But then people want to threaten me. They want to threaten me as if it's not my right to judge everyone that walks into my classroom to try to learn something. Then right on to tell you you're a shit student. Peace of God, Trade. I got your email. There's a lot of brothers out where you're at. In fact, you said Florida, right? The God that just wrote under you is Infinite Mind, and the God is out there in Florida. So there's a lot of guys out there. I'm going to send you some things to study, to read, but there's a lot of guys. Yo, Inf. Inf. Let me tell you what happened, right? There was a young man here, and Inf Mega was recording, so that's why it didn't come up on here. I let Inf Mega take it. But we started building, and he was being a little bit testy with Inf Mega, because Inf Mega was like, yo, your headphones are on? He said, yeah, that's my headphones. You know it's my headphones. And he said, listen, you in that cipher or you in this cipher? And he kind of got offended at that because it was just straight up. Inf Mega told him straight up. Nothing, no big deal, right? We deal with that all the time, Inf, right? We said, oh, yeah, my headphone, got to take them off, right? So it was. Well, we explained to him that we teach it. I went through a whole thing about being thin skin versus thick skin. He starts going, well, you can't predict certain. We got into another thing about predicting. He had some challenging questions about we can't predict our things, a future. And I said, listen, your standards are about a mystery God. What's the standards that you've proven? So we got into these discussions, good discussions of someone that doesn't have the knowledge and is questioning it, challenging it. Awesome. But I got into a riff, though, about the hard work that's necessary for this. The reading, the writing, the study. Taking your mind and your body to extreme levels to see what you can do. The unlimited nature within you. He got up and left. And I've been, Infinite Mind, you know how many people I've seen in this classroom. It's in the hundreds. I know if I guess why people left, I don't do it. I don't do it with people, but I can tell who's going to come back and who's not going to come back. Nobody asks me. I don't tell nobody because, it's not, well, I'm not going to tell nobody, right? But I've been knowing these things, right? Been doing it a long time. So I said, listen, he didn't want to do the work, though. And this kid was telling us, me and him, about how he went to all these different places, synagogues, a mosque, church, and he tried all the other places. He just left the church and he just left. He was going to do his shahada. So he's trying all the religions. I've had those too, if you know that. So I was like, okay, well, I said, you know what? Let me make his decisions fast. This ain't a place where you're going to find salvation. This is a place where you're going to find work. And whatever salvation you think it is, you're going to have to work for it. And this is the type of work that happens. Then I go into the type of work. So he gets up and he leaves. And I'm like, cool. I don't ask him why. I just let him go. I don't need to know why, but I know why. And I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to do anything. I don't care because I know what I did and I would do it again. Because I always go back to see what I done in that classroom. This is definitely not one where I would look back. So cool, right? Whatever. Now I'm getting threats on my IG. He's insulting other artists that I'm writing about. So he's dissing Smith and Wesson. Like, yo, you don't even know who Smith and Wesson is? He's like, F them and F you, this and that. He's like I just block and delete everything. Finds another account. Talks and crap. I'm going to find you. Yo, I'll be out there and I'll be waiting. You won't even notice it's me. For what? Do you need an apology? You want an apology from me? You want an apology for a teacher being a teacher telling you you sucked in my classroom? This is your grade. You need an apology from me where you didn't even do anything in this classroom and I just gave you the curriculum, the difficulty of the curriculum, you walked out. You did exactly what I asked everyone that walks in for the first time to decide what it is that you want from this classroom and then leave if it's not. And now you know I don't mess with Sunez out there. Go out and tell the world. People want to tell me how successful they are. They want to tell me how successful they are. I'll make it. I'm going to make it, Sunez. I'm going to make it. I don't need you, this and that. If you was here, I would have told you the same thing. You don't need me. But people want to threaten me. This is a thing. If people have a tendency now, if they don't do good, if they get challenged, if they get disagreed with, if I show them proof that they're not right and exact and say, listen, you got it. I get threats. And I got to wait for your emotion to subside and see that I was right for a year or two and come back, yo, Sunez, I was the one that was being disrespectful. That's cool. That's peace. But right now, I take it as threats. People need to stop threatening teachers, curriculums that they can't handle. You want to show that you don't need no damn Sunez? Go be successful in the outside world. Give me the vapors. Give me the vapors, right? We'll go old school. Give me the vapors. So, yo, Sunez, look, look, what's good for you? I got 100K followers, though. I'm balling. Show your life. Show your life. Show what you're doing. What the hell do I give a shit about that? Why are people being so thin-skinned? If you can't take learning with me, it's not because of the way I talk to you. And everyone that keeps doing this to me is being a liar. Is being a liar. I've seen it, if knows, from people that's supposed to be my brothers. I see it from people that they can't learn the curriculum. Nah, if you have a problem with Sunez, it has nothing to do with the intensity or brashness or ferocity that I spoke to you, because I never speak that way. You can't handle the curriculum. If you can't handle the curriculum, though, then step outside, buddy. Right? Go ahead, boy. Step outside. Go somewhere else and show them prove that you're amazing, and then tag me on it. Sunez, I didn't handle Sunez, but I did my own thing. Ha Sunez. Laugh it up. Laugh it up. Because I'm here to teach all the human families, though. You want to throw back a lesson at me? I really don't care. I really don't care. You know? But I'm telling people this, though. And this is the PSA. Public service announcement. Pedagogy, Sunez Allah. PSA. You don't like the way I'm teaching here, get to stepping. You don't like what you're hearing online here, comment, get to stepping. Go find a better algorithm for yourself. Right? Show and prove me wrong. Whatever you want to do. Don't go threatening me in my home. This is my home. That's it. That's all I got for today. Just soft. When I got knowledge of self, I was wrong every single day. When I used to build with knowledge, me Allah, my enlightener, remembered in perfection. When I used to build right and exact, I used to get him, he go, okay, right? Remember he used to go, oh, let me find out, right? If knows, he used to do that. Let me find out. But then 2 minutes later, he go, okay, students, come over here. They give me another question. I never left 100% everything right and exact. A good teacher leaves a student near correct, meaning that there's something else to do. That's homework. That's not punishment. That's homework. One of the great gods of Medina, never really built with him. He wanted to build with me. Give me his number, right? He said, he's like, oh, I said, listen, I already know. You ain't got to go through the whole thing. You're my big bro. You ain't got to explain to me how, if you feel I have something correct, you're going to tell me. Not being thin-skinned. And I've been here teaching over 25 years. What's the matter with these people? Right? You want to do the punch? You want to learn like that martial arts? You want to do the punch the way you feel like it? The student is one who is always learning and willing to be wrong about anything at any moment. And if that's not true, then you're not a student anymore. Certainly not a student of this, because we have shown and proven that the original man is God, that you are that original man, true and living God. Every day, each and every way. You know? That's right. We don't need it. We don't want it. We don't need it. You want to show me up? Show me up. Show me what you got. I tell people you don't like the way I learn? Go find Dark Kim. Come Sunday with our shop. He's right there. Look, right here. Boom. There we go. Right? Superstars. You know? You want to learn this knowledge though, but you don't want to read books? Go somewhere else. Right? You don't want to really learn? You don't want to write anything? Go somewhere else. You want to roll with the God and build, and then you don't want to train? You don't want to train and get in shape? Go somewhere else. You want to learn anything in life that takes great expertise, it's going to be guarded by those that really have it, to make sure that the person that's getting it is getting it correctly, and is also not just one of the people to abuse it with surface information just taken for it superficially. Any apprenticeship is going to be this way. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter how gifted you are. Take this heed, note, because this is what I have found, though, that when I teach my elementary school kids especially, it makes sense with them. They've never had the mentor-apprentice relationship. Now, they have teacher relationships, lecture style, do this, do that, but not the interactive mentor-apprentice relationship where someone is closer to you, more intimate with you, but they're also correcting you, and it's not okay. They're helping you, they're succeeding with you, but you could be wrong at any turn. And you have to, it's not like you have just big tests. You have tests every time you're with them. Every moment can be a test. Wasn't this the way that we learned God with Seagung Bobby Whitaker? We had to be on point at all times. This is the way we learn with all the elders. My goodness, though. Like, grown men would be going away crying, though. These young men today, if You guys would be crying though if you were around firstborn Prince. You would be crying. I just can't. Now I said I'd be here for a half hour. I could be here if there's any questions about anything. Anything. Trey Wilson, I'm definitely gonna email you back because I want to email you some things. I'm also gonna tell you where to go to find people. I just haven't had the time to do it though. Remember the God, I was supposed to email something to the God CIYs and I totally forgot. And I got it to him today. So like I've been behind because I've been trying to catch up with some books that I'm writing. And I did. I caught up where I it's steady. It's just like the mail though. It's never over, but I'm more caught up, you know. But but that's what it is. That's what I wanted to say because we're doing all this teaching. I'm teaching a lot of new students though, and I want people to have more of a thick skin. What does thick skin entail? It entails not just being able to take the challenge of the teacher, but like let's say Trey, right? If you don't get an answer from me this weekend, then now it's you need to be thick-skinned enough to go, listen, Sunez, remind you again, when can I get that email? It's a give and take. Good question, jeweler. I always think that a vegan has to be once you decide to be vegan, you have to be an educated have to have an educated diet. You have to always be studying because processed foods really attack the veganism very hard, and you can end up just eating processed foods. I don't think this is something that just a vegan should do. I think everybody should be fasting. I fast 2 days a week. It works for me. Sometimes those 2 days last. They might go into like midday, etc., etc. But that's how I do it. What else? But you find out a way to fast, a way to clean out the system, a way to give a break to the system. It's necessary. Like it's not just like you fast from the pig and then you're done. You have to find a way to do it. So you could start certain things. Sometimes you take it with a day that's easy for you. A lot of times I take the fast days on the days where I don't have time to eat. I also like the fast days because I eat a lot. I'm vegan. I do a lot of training, and so and I don't eat anything processed. The only thing that could become close to being called processed that I eat is tempeh, because it's actually not just plucked from nature, right? It's natural, but it's made, it's put together, right, of grains and fermented soy. But I don't. Most of my diet is near raw, except for the quinoa that I cook. The diet is raw, so right, and the occasional nuts. There's like maybe one nut that I eat that isn't um, raw, because I can't find them raw in the Trader Joe's. So I have those, right? Everything else like is raw, but I used to have like salted, like some of them salted. Maybe sunflower seeds occasionally when they have them because it's a real treat for me. I just like it like that. Not David sunflower seeds. I'm talking about the Trader Joe's salted and roasted. But that's about the only thing. Because it's like a treat for me. But nearly everything is raw. Like my diet is got it. It's probably 80-90% raw. But you got to give the body a break. And sometimes it's good because as a writer, as a reader, sometimes when I take those breaks, I'm like, yo, that takes some time from I could do other things. Because like when I eat calm, collected, make it an event. So sometimes I'll eat, I'll be watching a program with the kids or by myself. I'll be watching some, something that they can't watch, like something violent and shit, you know what I mean? Some serious drama or whatever. and I relax. You know what I mean? That's my relax time. And since my brother has so much film, though, I really try to like be a student of film. You know, even though that kind of gives it is a fancy way of saying a credibility to watching TV. Because now that the Mets are on, I'll be watching TV. Like I don't watch that much film and TV when the Mets are playing because I'm like, yo, that's gonna be 3 hours of my day watching the Mets. You know. But even then, I get to write and read while I watch the game. You know what I mean? But
Okay,
I eat a lot.
guys.
It always takes me a long time to eat. I don't like to eat fast. I don't like to eat fast. You know. But so it's always good to have a time to fast. Takes gives you extra time to do stuff.
Now we're going
Lets
to
you
learn
reboot the
some
body. Gets you light. You know. Certain days when like there's certain days where I have to wake up at 3 a.m. to train. That'll be a fasting day because I don't have to worry about eating or anything like that. I just get into the day, boom, you know. And if I do that, then the only thing I'll have is like a protein shake. I just eat nothing in it, hemp protein. That's it. There's no sugars, nothing, no preservatives, nothing, just hemp protein. And I'll add some chlorophyll powders in there. Um, Lately, I've been adding like Ceylon cinnamon powder and ginger powder to my protein shakes too. You know, I've had a little bee pollen too, so I've been eating that because my daughter gave me that bee pollen. I never had it before. I've been throwing that in the drinks. But antioxidants like Ceylon cinnamon powder and ginger powder. I throw ginger into all my teas as well. You know, the main teas I drink though lately have been um, lemongrass and peppermint. You know, stuff for the body. You know, stuff to you know. So just really adding on to that question that's way beyond. But everybody should find a time to fast. If you can't fast regularly, right?
Yeah.
Then what you do is, if you're going to eat every day and you need to eat every day, or you just don't feel comfortable, what you do is have an intermittent fast. So like, make sure you eat everything by let's say 6 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock at the latest. Don't eat until like let's say 7 plus 5. Like, let's see if you can last until like 12 p.m., 11 p.m. Excuse me, 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Right, and skip that breakfast and then have your meal in the afternoon. At best, at the very least, you stop eating at 6 and then you have breakfast at 6. That still would be 6 12 hours. Peace, God. That's peace, God. That's peace, God. That's, that's peace, God. You ain't got to do that, God. I'm here for you, God.
Peace. Yeah, it's for you. Oh, thank you so much. Enjoy. Thank you.
All right. King me, yeah, definitely. Let me go through some things with the diet, right? A lot of times we try to eat a lot. This is the way of the world. Eat slower. I think that's the biggest jewel I got from How to Eat to Live. Books 1 and 2 wasn't what he ate, but like, yo, eat slow, eat careful, and it links up with Thich Nhat Hanh when he's talking about mindfulness. Like, actually, enjoy the meal. Enjoy the meal. A lot of times, I think people don't enjoy their meal because they know that they got a lot of things that in there that ain't good for you. You know what I mean? But you make that meal right and exact, you can enjoy that meal. Like, I eat the meal and I'm enjoying it. Every part of that meal is great for me. Like, I'm eating it every part of the meal. When I have this treat, like I get my sugars, I have dried fruit. I eat a lot of dried fruit, no chemicals, no hydroxides, nothing. Just a dried fruit. Mango dried fruit. I love dried mango. But then I have a lot of freeze dried fruit. My freeze dried fruit, I love cherries and raspberries and mangoes too, right? Because the mango dry fruit tastes different than the mango freeze dried, right? Freeze dried is the best though, but the dried fruit is chewy, tastes really good. Make sure that Like, let's say if you buy apricots dried fruit, if the dried fruit apricot looks orange, they had the hydroxide added to it. You know what I'm saying? If it's dark, like blackish, that means that it's natural. So that's why you got to read the labels. Read the labels, you know. But that's of course, fruit I eat, frozen fruits, all everything. I just, but there's no candies, there's nothing, you know. And been able to live that way. And even my daughter, right? I'ma come here for a minute, right? Tell them what you think about candy. You eat a lot of candy?
Well, I actually don't eat any candy at all because it's too sweet for me and it's too sugary and I just don't like it. And even some candies I'm allergic to. So.
What do you like to eat that's sweet then?
Fruits. My favorite fruit is apricots, which I beg for all the time.
That is true.
And also chips are basically my candy.
Right, chips that we get, like occasional chips and
Yeah,
everything.
potato chips
All right,
mostly.
and the blue corn chips, right?
Yes.
All right.
And lentils.
Right. See, the kids said lentils is a treat. You know what I mean? See, piece of the guy. King, you said you eat once a day every 24 hours, no breakfast, lunch, no meat. Very good. You know what I mean? Very good. See, I'm always trying to load because I'm training so much. I try to get bigger and bigger all the time because it doesn't. I'll eat that major meal, post workout shake, then later a meal, that big meal. If the day is long and I did this very early, which I usually do, I try to have some more another snack of more fruit, more nuts, seeds, and dried fruits. That'll be like a big snack. I say that's like a meal because sometimes when I get to eating, it ends up being a lot. But that's how I do it. So it's like if you count the protein shake, that would be 3 meals. You know what I mean? But with my protein shake, I don't overload the amount of protein. You know what I mean? People overload the amount of protein. It's not the way I do it. You know? P.E.A.C.E. That's Peace God. I'm glad you got it. That's Peace God. That's Peace God. You know? I'm still working on a book list for the Earths, not and a reworking of the basic beginner book list. So the book list is for everybody, God or Earth. But the Earth beginner book list is for like books that you want to supplement this information. Books that are for women, young girls, all that kind of stuff. So I'm working on. I have that too. You know what I mean? I haven't read every single book on the list though. I did research though. When I've read every single book on that list, then I'll know for sure that that's what I want to share. You know what I mean? But working on some things. You know what I mean? It takes a long time to do these things. But guys, if anybody has any questions, I would say this though, just so we can extend this, since we're talking about diet and stuff. To me, diet is useless though if you're not training. You gotta be working out. You gotta do something. And I have workouts that are easy. You could do short. Try to 5x5.
Subscribe.
You get up there to 5 minutes though, but you do 5x5, right? You do 5 minutes. 5 minute calf lifts, 5 minute squats, and 5 straight. You take a break when you're just fatigued as hell, but you keep going. 5 minutes of light weights or heavy weights, whatever you want to do. I don't like to time heavy weights. 5 minutes light weights, you know what I mean? Like your 10s, 25s, 30s, shit like that. 5 minutes calisthenics, 5 minutes abs. Start with five of these exercises for 1 minute each. No breaks. There was no break. You go until failure. I do it for 5 minutes because I can go 5 minutes. But usually those are my shorter workouts. So the shorter workout will be those 5, but then I also do some kung fu and everything. So that ends up to be about, right? Usually ends up being about. And also I add some burpees to it. So I always add burpees with everything. Because if you don't have the time to do all this cardio, because cardio takes so long, and I get a lot of cardio doing kung fu, so I don't have time to do the other cardio all the time. My cardio ends up being 50 burpees in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And if you've ever done burpees, that'll do it. You know what I mean? And like I could do 50 burpees in about fastest is like 4.5 minutes. You know what I mean? Um, but burpees are always a good thing. So I'll do my 5x5 will have six. It'll have those. I always start with the legs. I always do the weighted calf lifts, squats, weighted squats, then without weights, jump squats with and without weights. I'm just squatting until 5 minutes. 5 minutes of abs, 5 minutes of light weights, resistance bands for really targeting the biceps, triceps, deltoids, right? Then 5 minutes light weights. Although I like to do the weights before I do the calisthenics, though. In the calisthenics, I like to do wide push-ups on it. I got this perfect push-up thing, not the one that you keep changing, not that bar, but I got like the perfect push-up thing, and it's unstable, so it gives you higher leverage, but it's unstable, so it gives you more intensity. So I like to switch till failure, then I switch to dips. Till failure, get on the bench, dips, and just work the triceps and shoulders. Really crazy with that, but yeah. Anyway, and if you got the toy, let me real quick, Alan. Let me get this. If you got this, add this into the training session as well. You know what I mean? In your resistance bands. You know what I mean? I'll do horse stance. If you know, I'll be in the horse stance, right? I'll be in the horse stance, just doing this for like a certain amount of reps. See, I'm not even sitting now. I'm in the horse stance. You know what I mean? And be doing this. So you can make this. Get yourself some handles or some, right? Get yourself some. You don't need to buy it. You know what I mean? Yes, Alan, what do you want to say?
Make sure, guys, to subscribe. I made your own design for you guys. You have to subscribe now. And if you
really so? Huh?
and if you don't, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
You too much, Alan.
Hey, peace.
Peace to the guy.
Peace to God's earth. It's me, Prince Unique Supreme.
Julie, you said I got a friend who's into weightlifting. He says if you're not throwing up, then you waste your time with weights. He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I don't think any workout is good if you're throwing up. There's really, to me, failure. I like to work out to failure. When you work out to failure, that just means that you can't do anymore with good form. If you're throwing up, though, it's just that you're not working out right. Because listen, you got to be equipped to be able to do shit out there. So you can't just leave it all there. But I worked out hard training in Kung Fu. My Qigong, Infinite Mind knows. We work out all day. I never worked out to a point where I had to throw up. So I feel like maybe that's something that they doing wrong and stuff, I don't know. I just never worked out. And I work out to failure. I'm working out intense. I'll do a workout. Let me go through a full workout. Like, it'll have heavy weights, bench press. I usually bench press my weight because I do this very early in the morning. So I'm bench pressing my weight on dumbbells. And so it's multiple reps. And sometimes I could get to 50 reps. I could easily do 50 reps of my own weight on dumbbells. Right? What is next? Then I have it set up though where I could do resistance bands, where I could bench press the resistance bands right. Then I'll do some quick deadlifts with lighter weight just to get the back in motion, right? I don't do heavy deadlift because I'm doing this every day, and that gets you hurt though if I don't take the time with that. So I don't put it heavy weight, but it's just to warm me up. Then I'm doing Bulgarian squats with weights. I'm doing farmer's walk, deep knee bends, hitting the floor with weights back and forth a certain amount of times. I'm doing weighted squats of different leg positions. Then I'm doing weightlifting, focusing on triceps, biceps, triceps, biceps, deltoids work with resistance bands and weights. Then I'm doing the burpees. Then I'm doing ab workouts, different kinds, and then the kung fu. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of leg work in the kung fu too. Horse stance work, all that kind of stuff. And I'll do all that in the scope of an hour. And I don't take breaks. That's what gives me the fatigue. That's what makes it hard. That's what makes it intense. So, it's like if you don't have time to do something, make the workout more intense. Cut out the time. But we all got to be working out. We all got to be making up some type of training session, guys. We got to be making it. If we're not doing it, though, then we're messing up. We got to be doing. You start out 1 minute, put that timer 1 minute doing push-ups. 1 minute doing jump squats. That's it. 2 minutes. Make it a true 2 minutes, though. You'll gauge where you're at when you do that. You know what I mean? But with that said, I'm gonna let everybody go. I got my daughter here. She's charismatic all the time, right? So I'm gonna let y'all go and say peace to God's nurse. Email me. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't follow ASAP Ferg too much, but yeah, peace to the God's Earths. Email me Sunez97@gmail.com. All right.
Got
Peace.
Prince Unique Supreme here.
Peace to God, Malik.